Assalamualaikum, kia ora. Greetings, welcome to another Voice of Islam show. Today's topic, Muslims living in the West. Today's societies are mostly plural societies. Many Muslims living in non-Muslim lands, and Muslim friends may wonder why we want to live in what may seem foreign lands, even though we may face many challenges, difficulties. Increasingly, many Muslims choose to live in the West for many reasons, and many from the West are choosing Islam as their way of life. Today, we want to discuss this interesting topic and hope the viewers will benefit from our program with Brother Farid Ahmed, inshallah, God willing. Assalamualaikum, Brother Farid. How are you?
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah, I'm well. And how are you? And I hope all the viewers are well also, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, I'm all fine. And likewise, I hope all the viewers, wherever they are in the world, are fine and healthy and in good spirits, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. So, Brother Freed, it's a very interesting topic because we're both living in the West and
Yes,
things can be different for those living in other countries, or predominantly Muslim countries. So, I think it'll be quite an interesting topic because many of the viewers are probably from the West and also many are from areas where it's predominantly Muslims. So, I think it'll be a good, interesting topic for all of us, inshallah.
yes. And you are from the West, living
Yes,
in the West, but you are following Islam. So it is
yes,
interesting to get your experience also.
yes,
So yes,
inshallah,
you are right. Yeah, it's a good show.
inshallah.
It's a good combination.
I think so. Very good combination. I'm sure people enjoy
Yes,
it today. So, first of all, we'll
inshallah.
jump straight into it. My first question will be: when a Muslim lives in a non-Muslim society, how should he or she see others who are different from them or have a different faith from them?
Well, as we know that a Muslim mean whoever has accepted the obedience of Allah, that person is Muslim, and they can be from anywhere. So I live in New Zealand, and here Muslims are less than 1%. Um, but you also live in New Zealand, and you were born in Australia. So
Yes,
you know when we say how Muslims is, you and me and all other Muslims, we don't have any choice that how we see. We don't have any choice how we want to see, because we see the way that Allah has showed us. So, and that's where, Muslim, whoever they are living, wherever they are living, we have a unity in thinking, unity in thought. And instead of putting our own agenda, own idea, own philosophy, own attitude, we ask Allah that Allah, we are Muslim because we have surrendered to your will. Now you tell us how we should look at, how we should see the people who are not belong to our faith. So this is my first point. The second point is now, you know, if we look at Quranic verse, for example, chapter 49, verse 13, then we can get answer. So there Allah says, Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind, inna khalaqnakum min zakarin wa unsa. I have created you, I have created you from a man and a woman. So referring to the first man Adam and his wife Eve. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. And then I have spread you all around the earth into different nations and tribes, etc., so that you will know one another. So from this, we can see that Allah is teaching us how to see the humanity, whether they have faith or no faith. Allah is showing us the way. So, as far as humanity concerned, this verse is teaching that the all human has one creator. So they are created from same source, God, Allah. The second one is that God has created all of us from the same parents. And thirdly, God has made us into different color, into different race, into different nationality. So basically, these things is teaching us the way we look at mankind, Muslim, non Muslim, believer, non believer, atheist, any human, we believe that Allah made the all human a special race. Therefore, we are one race, human race. We are one family, big family, because we are all from the same parents. And because we are same, all are same from the same parents, therefore, in larger scale, we are human brothers and sisters. So that's how we look at the humanity because Islam has taught us to see that way. So where does the other brotherhood and sisterhood fits? So, for example, we believe there are different layers of brotherhoods and sisterhood. So, one is as a human. As a human, we are human brothers and human sisters. This is what we believe. Muslim believes that human are human brothers and human sisters. Then, when it comes to the faith, then they have believing brothers and believing sisters. And then when it comes even to the family blood relation, then blood brothers and blood sisters. So that's how Islam has beautifully taught that there there should be reasons for the human unity. So human can treat one another as family members, human brothers and sisters, and they can treat one another with love and compassion, and they can live together peacefully.
Very well put. Very well put. So I was just thinking then we're sort of like humanity is more, we're not meant to be alone, not meant to be hermits living in a cave by ourselves. We're meant to be congregating together, and
Yes.
as families and as in tribes and nations, communities, different ethnic, even if they're different ethnic groups, different faith groups, but still we're all under one humanity. And
Mm,
then also mixing with the other ones, so to learn the richness of what others have, especially in terms of their faith, their food. And this is a good thing about being with migration and things like that. The food, the different foods you can get now and things like that, and then the mixing with the different cultures, so you sort of see what they believe, and in terms of what in belief systems, but also in their customs and other traditions. So
mm,
this is all very good part, and I think it's also in the Quran. It talks about that. We've created you as different tribes and nations, but to get to know each other. So
true.
this is very important, so that not just get to know each other and just try the foods, but get to know each other and understand each other, so that we can have an empathy for what the differences and things like that, and because, like you said, we're all from the same parents, so we're all family. So families shouldn't be fighting. Yes, you have squabbles here and there, but not usually not where you want
Mm,
to just take over everything of someone else's. So it's then you get to learn, get to understand, and be at peace and harmony with each other, because at the end of the day we all living on this earth, because we all want to be in peace. We all want to have food on our table. We all want to live a happy life as best we can, and things like that. So, we can't. want to overtake. We can't sort of want to take everything of someone else's when they have a right to things themselves. So we have
mm,
to have that understanding, and I think this is part of living in the West. As being a Muslim, even though I wasn't brought up as a Muslim, but I was brought up as a Western background. But living in the West, you still can have both sides, and you can live within both sides. Like if I like a bit of rugby, that's good, alhamdulillah. But I don't have to go and drink with them after, if they're
mm.
watching the game and this and this. So, but I still can enjoy those sort of things. Many things we can enjoy um, within the boundaries of Islam. We talk about always talking about saying this is haram, this is haram, this is haram. But there's little which is haram, and there's so much which is actually halal that we can have. So sorry to rant on a little bit here. I sort
No,
of
no, you were
started
doing
and
fine.
I can get going. So,
Yeah, very, very good.
Brother Freed, the next question. So, in this world, some people try to find justification to hate one another for faith or over faith. What is the Islamic point of view regarding hate based on faith or no faith? So, hating on because of someone's belief system, whether it be Islamic or Muslim or other types.
Yeah, so this, if we go back to the days of ignorance, uh, before Prophet, peace be upon him, uh, came to Mecca. So in that days of ignorance, what they used to do, they used to innovate ideas to divide one human from another human.
Mm,
So, and for their tribal politics, for their power, for their control, for their pride, for their arrogance, for their business advantages. So they used to do that. For example, they used to have classes. They used to think that the rich people are high class and the poor people should be lower class. Or they had some honorable families and some unhonorable families. Some would be uh, more privileged and other will not be privileged. So they had this sort of things just to innovate something to justify hating one another, oppressing one another, taking advantage from one another, or oppressing or suppressing one another. So when Islam came with the idea to reform it. And Islam came with the clear cut message that you have also referred and I have also referred in Quran chapter 49 verse 13. Allah said that وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. So Allah said that Allah had created mankind. Also, Allah has created the colors depending on the weather. Allah has created the weather. Allah has created the entire earth, and in each area, due to the weather, different thing. Also, Allah has created the languages. But for the language, for the color, for the race, for the religion, for the ethnicity, Allah said that these things Allah did not create to hate one another. Allah has clearly mentioned that what is the purpose for these differences we have, whether it is in faith or whether it is in color. It's not to establish supremacy one over another. It's not to create in a fight and war so that one group of human will be downtrodden and another group of human will be like God-like. No, these are not the purpose of you know a human creation in different colors and races and religions. Allah made it very clear that the purpose is only positive, and that is lita'arafu, that they will know one another, they will share their knowledge, they will share their experience, they will share their positive qualities like love, caring, and compassion. They will share their business ideas, because in each area, in each particular area of land, Allah has given something unique. In each race, Allah has given some qualities unique. In each ethnicity, Allah has given some food that is unique. So, if we were all in one color, life could have been boring. It could have been boring. If the garden, had only one type of flower, a rose, for example, then it would have been boring. So Allah created a garden with different colors of flower. And similarly, Allah has created human being into different color, faith, and races, so that people will learn from one another. Now, when it comes to the faith in particularly, then about the faith, Allah has given some special ruling. So, as a Muslim, I have to stick to my faith. I cannot leave my faith, and for my faith, I do not consider anyone else as my enemy. I feel special for my faith, and I should practice my own faith, but that does not mean I will condemn others, or I will hate others, or I will consider others my enemy. No, no, because we do not worship human to go against in favor of human. We worship Allah. Muslim mean we worship Allah. So, in worshiping Allah, our heart should be clean, our mind should be clean, and we should not have any grudge, any hatred, any enmity against Allah's creations. Because Allah has given freedom in faith. Allah said, Imma shakira wa imma kafura. That human being, Allah has given guidance, Allah has given messengers, and then Allah has given the freedom of choice of choosing the faith. If someone wants to take this, Allah has given freedom. If someone wants to take that, Allah has given freedom. We are not the judge. Judge will be Allah. That's why Allah said in the Quran, Allah said in chapter 13, verse 40, فَإِنَّمَا عَلَيْكَ الْبَلَاغُ وَعَلَيْنَا الْحِسَابُ. That you Muslims, you can invite others cordially towards the truth, whatever you believe, cordially, bil hikmah, with wisdom, wal mawidatil hasana, and without offending anyone, in a best manner. If you feel like, if the situation is like that, but you cannot be the judge. You cannot discriminate another human based on different faith. You have to be fair with them. You have to be kind with them. You have to be nice with them. You cannot force your faith on others. La ikraha fid din. Al Quran chapter 2 verse 156. So you cannot force your faith on others, and you cannot mistreat others because of their different faith. So if we now, look at all together, that Allah has, given us freedom of choice, that we want to have our own faith, and we should be confident about it. And one should not force faith on another. But apart from the worship, when it comes about human relations, then we are all human brothers and sisters. We do business together. We do study together. We work hard to remove the poverty together. We work together to invent medicine. We work together to look after the sick, old, and vulnerable people. So, in the vast area of our life, we are united. We are human brothers and sisters. When it comes to the faith, then I worship my Allah. I do not follow others. And another human brother, he worships something else. I also do not criticize him. I do not offend him. I do my prayer peacefully and I allow him to do his prayer peacefully. That's how Islam teaches us. So if we live in the West and we are minority Muslims, then we do not hate other because of their faith, because our religion, Islam, doesn't allow that. So we respect them, and we look for the common ground. And in the common ground, we try to be united, to live in peace, to work together in unity for our peace, safety, security, and prosperity.
Very good, Brother Farid. I just want to make a couple more comments on there as well.
Yes.
So when we're living in the West, those who have come from other countries, we should not be arrogant in a way that thinking, well, everyone should understand what we are, what we believe, yet we don't want to understand what they believe or what their customs and traditions are. So, as Muslims, it is our duty to find out about others, what they believe, what their customs, traditions are. So, especially we're sort of like guests in a foreign country. Eventually we come and be here a long time, and we become part of the, totally part of the community and things like that. But we should also learn. It's like when you go to a country, you travel overseas. If had the opportunity to go overseas, you learn a bit about what they're doing there and things like that. You look at their cultural sites, their places of interest, their scenery. So this is the same as what we should do with the people that we're our neighbours and things like that, where we come to settle. Especially if we've gone to the West, or even a country where you're not born from, that's got different culture and customs and even beliefs. Because at the end of the day, like we mentioned before, brother mentioned before, we all come from one parents, but we've got slightly different. Even when we have brothers and sisters, they have different thought patterns. They have different understandings of things. But this is now, we've got different tribes, communities. The understandings are a lot more, seem a lot more different. Different clothing, different hairstyles, different foods, different languages. So we should take time to learn and understand. So when we show that we are interested in them, in what they believe and things like that, it doesn't mean that we have to follow their beliefs. We can follow some of the traditional things they do, as long as it's not against Islam. But there's many things we can do that we show, oh yes, we have an interest, learn about it, but then it opens it up for them to then want to ask about what we believe, how we believe, what we believe in, customs, traditions, and things like that. And I think this is what it needs to be. We can't just sort of go to a place and say, well, I'm a Muslim, they should not know anything about Islam. There's
Hmm.
still many, 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 many millions of people in the West and other places don't know much about Islam, except what they might see on some of the TV programs and news and things like, which is not good. So we have to be the ones, if take the lead. Muslims are supposed to be have good hospitality, charitable, and things like that. So we invite them. We talk to them. Talk to our work colleagues. Say, what is it you believe? Oh, if they're so excited about a rugby match and we don't know much about it, say, oh, can you tell me some of the rules or this or that? So you show an interest. Doesn't mean that you're going to become a rugby player, but there's nothing wrong with that. One of the most famous rugby players in New Zealand, Sonny Bill Williams, he's a Muslim and well-known practicing Muslim. So, and there's several others in that high level of playing that are Muslims and practicing. So, this is a chance where we get to know know the people, know what they're believing in, and then it gives the opportunity, as I said, for them to come and learn about Islam, inshallah.
Inshallah, I'll add little more
Yes,
here.
please.
As you are touching the practical side of it. Yes, when I came, my parents, my families, they were quite concerned that you are going to you are going to the west, and how you are going to pray, how you are going to fast, how you are going to practice your religion. Will there be any mosque? Lots of fear. And um, and I think it is a matter of the fact that lots of predominantly Muslim countries, people from predominantly Muslim countries, they have some sort of worry that our relatives who are living in the West, how they are going to practice the religion. I would like to say you have nothing to worry. You have nothing to worry, because generally, like, I can talk about New Zealand. They are very good. They do not discriminate who is Muslim, who is not Muslim. They give the freedom of choice in terms of a religion. They do not they do not block us from our prayers. They are quite open. Even, I will share my first experience. The first day I arrived in New Zealand, you know I was taken to a church because I wanted to see a church. I had never seen a church in my entire life before. So I wanted to see a church. So when I went to the church, I talked to the leaders, I talked to the priest, I told them that I was a Muslim, and I told them that I was very keen to see what they do, because I had never seen that. So they were so accommodative. They said, "Oh, you are Muslim. Do you pray?" I said, "Yes, I pray regularly." So in their church, they had few extra rooms. So they told me that you can use any of these extra room to pray your prayer. Whenever your times, prayer time is up, because we know that Muslims, you pray 5 times, but we do not know what is the exact timetable. So whenever your prayer time, please go and pray. And then whenever you are free, you can come and see what we do. So you
Mm,
see things like this. You know, as Brother Mohammed said, you have to be open. Your heart is there. You need to be confident that yes, I'm a confident Muslim. I'll follow my deen, my religion. But to know about others, you have to break the ice.
mm,
You know, you have to break the ice, because otherwise, people from two different faith, they wonder, oh, how they will think about me, or they will think how they will think about me. So one has to take the lead and break the ice, start the communication, and then be honest about who you are. You will see that through nice communication, the good result comes. So that's how I found that honest communication was a good thing. And I think many Muslims who are living in the West, they have more experiences, practical tips than me. And it's all about what we believe and how we try.
So, so right, Brother Freed, it is. And like you said, we've got to break the ice. And like that beautiful story you had where they accepted you, they even gave you a place to pray and practice how you need to practice your religion. And so, because to be able to talk to our non-Muslim brothers and sisters, we need to first understand what they actually believe or don't believe in some cases. So because we can't we can just talk from our point of view, but then you got to. It's like a salesperson. Salesperson has to as Allah has given us two ears, so two
Mm.
ears to listen and one to speak. So it's 20. It's twice as much listening, half the amount speaking. But with that listening, we have to then we use that by speaking. The questions we ask is the things then we need to know, so that we ask some questions and get the answers and listen, so that we don't just sort of say, oh, this, and this. But if we don't understand where they're coming from, we're starting to talk to people about our, God is one and things like this and creation and that and that and that. And yet we haven't asked a simple question whether the person believes in God. If they don't, then we'd have a different approach. And so there's different ways, because you could lose a person just by not understanding anything about them. And so the best thing is we ask some simple questions and then listen a lot, inshallah.
And here, I before the moment goes, I would like to add with
Yes.
you, because there are two ways to communicate. One way is to debate in the intention. And the intention is, I want to debate and defeat.
Yes.
This is not the right way.
No.
I don't believe in this, because lita'arafu in Quran, Allah said that I have made you different so that you can learn about one
Communicate
another.
and understand. Yes.
So learn and understand and sharing. But if you have the attitude that you want to argue, you want to say in the first 5 minutes that he is wrong and you are right, this is not learning. It is just trying to defeat one another. This is not
Get
the right
get the
communication.
upper hand. You're trying to get the upper
Yes,
hand, trying to put the person down.
yeah.
Yes.
So give up the critical mode.
Mm.
If you want to communicate with somebody who is from different faith, give up the critical mode. Don't be
Mm.
critical. Give up the debating mode,
Mm.
because debate is only uh, required for people who are willing to do debate.
Mm.
But the common people, don't want to debate it. They want to get on with life. They want to say hello. They want to say hi. If you are their neighbor, they want to feel that they are secure, because you are a Muslim and they hear lots of things about you in the media, lots of negative things. So they have some existing fear about you anyway. And now, if I, meet my neighbor and first day, I start argument, then I am confirming that false media propaganda about me. My neighbor will think, oh, I heard bad comments about Muslim, and now I can see, he is very judgmental, he is very forceful, and he is very self-righteous,
Arrogant and
arrogant,
everything.
blah
Yes.
blah blah.
Yeah.
So that is why, lita'arafu, in learning, sharing, and communication, we have to remember, don't be critical, don't be judgmental, don't start debate, don't show arrogance.
Mm.
If they are interested about your faith, they will ask. Then you can answer.
Mm.
Otherwise, don't start, jumping on the faith, because it is very, very, very sensitive thing. In New Zealand, we know what we do. We follow something very nice. So we start our conversation, with weather.
Mm.
So we, because weather is, everybody accept the weather.
Yes.
It is not, something that is, some people are sensitive to, other people feel hurt, other people feel offended. So we start, we say, very nice day today. So we start from the common thing, that I agree and my neighbor agrees, my workmate agrees. So start the communication with the common thing. And as Brother Mohammed said, show your genuine and sincere interest that you want to find out. To live in a plural society happily, yes, we need to understand one another. We need to understand one another's culture and religion a bit. Why? Because we want to know that where they are very sensitive to.
Mm,
Because we do not want to offend anyone. And
exactly.
Islam says, Bil hikmah, use your hikmah, your wisdom, so that you will not offend one another, you will not be a burden to one another. So this is, another point I wanted to add.
No,
Okay,
very
brother,
good.
carry on.
Alhamdulillah. Carry on. So the next question is going to be how different the view between living in Muslim society and in non-Muslim society has been for you. You were born in Bangladesh, lived there until you were 25, and then came to New Zealand since 1988. So tell us the differences. Like, you've come from something totally different. So I'm sure the
So
viewers would like to understand or hear from your point of view, inshallah.
I, you know, generally, I am quite positive. Um, Even though life has ups and downs, and anywhere you go, you will see one part of the day is night and another part is day.
Mm,
But to live comfortably, I believe that even I should think about the night in a positive way, because night also brings lots of lessons for us. Lots of lessons for us. Night brings also comfort. So in Bangladesh, a few things were good. I'll mention about the good things. Uh, in Bangladesh, we used to wake up with the sound of azan,
mm,
because the masjid were everywhere, and every masjid has microphone. So when the caller call for salah, call for prayer, we call it azan. Then we used to wake up with the sound of azan, and before we went to sleep at night, also we used to hear azan for Isha, azan for night
mm,
salah. So that was a good thing, because that was an encouragement to be regular in prayer, 5 times prayer. Family, friends, we all used to pray. So we used to encourage one another. So that was one good thing there. But here, when I came, it totally was my responsibility. If I was lazy, prayer is missed.
mm,
If I had self control, then I could pray. So here, in terms of prayer, you know, it came a a responsibility, extra responsibility on me, to motivate myself, to look at the time of the time, to uh, budget my timing in between work, after work, before work, you know, to fit my prayers. So it was an extra responsibility, bit harder. But the positive thing was that it was a good exercise for self-control, and good exercise to keep myself motivated all the time. um, in Bangladesh, as a Muslim, for my faith, the positive thing was that no one criticized me and no one misunderstood me, because most people there, they understood about Islam, because most people were Muslims, and then second Hindu, third Christian, and fourth Buddhist, like this. But here, when I came, always, I used to hear something in the media, And I realized that in the West there are lots of misunderstanding around Islam and Muslim, and many many I found that many non-Muslim, they were scared of me. They are scared of me, and that scared me too initially. Why they were scared? Because from media and from some isolated cases here and there, from some Muslims who do mistakes. So from their actions, the many non-Muslims, they developed a fear that Muslims would hate them, Muslim would come, and there will be a large number, and they will take over the country, they will bring the Sharia law, and they will punish them, this and that. So from this fear also, some people, they become extreme, and they start to believe that because Muslim hate us, so we should hate them. So I found that one was quite challenging. And also some, as you know, so some, they take their fear into extreme, and out of fear they believe that before Muslims finish us, we should finish them. And that was an exercise in 15th of March 2019 in Christchurch. So this is something, it was challenging, uh, but lot of good things is that, after coming here, I gained lots of experiences that I did not know before. First of all, my experience was that vast amount of people, the majority people are nice. So I came from another country, and this country, these people, even though they were majority non-Muslims, and many of them atheists, but they did not look at me as Muslim. They they accommodated me in New Zealand as a human. That was something, I always feel grateful, and I always feel thankful. They taught me that New Zealanders, in large extent, they follow the teaching of Islam.
Exactly.
They did not look at me as a Muslim, they looked at me as human, a human brother. He needs to be accommodated. So they opened their hearts for me, they accommodated me. The second things I have learned, that I realized after coming from Bangladesh, that in Bangladesh, lot of things I used to think, I was like a straitjacket, because my limited information made me think in a narrow way. But when I came to New Zealand, it opened the whole world for me, and I learned more. And also, as a Muslim, I gained more confidence after coming to New Zealand. I gained a lot of confidence. And to grow that confidence, I found that sometimes non-Muslims, they help me. And I'll give you another brief story. When I came here, I went to a shop with my friend. I went to a shop to buy something. And then an old lady, she'd be about, 78, 75, like this. She came to me, very nice lady. And she said to me, are you a Muslim? I said, how do you know? She said, you look like a Muslim. So I was a young man, 25 plus, and I had beard. And so she said, I can recognize you are a Muslim. So, I was thinking, because I came very new, I was thinking that, oh, does she mean that she is disliking me because she found out I was a Muslim. Things like this, because I was new, I was learning. Then she said to me, "Look, I'm not a Muslim, but I want to find out from you, are you a practicing Muslim or non practicing Muslim?" I said, ask me again. She said, "Are you a good Muslim or a bad one?" I said, "Okay, okay, ma'am, tell me what is in your definition a good Muslim." She said, "A good Muslim prays 5 times." I said, "Well, you can call me a good Muslim because I pray 5 times." Then she said, "Young man, listen to me. If you pray 5 times, you are a good man. You are a good person. You are a good Muslim. I like you." So I came to my place with a lot of confidence that before her comments, I never knew that so many non-Muslims even appreciated the practicing good character Muslim.
Mm.
So through her, Allah gave me confidence that wherever you go, practice your good moral character. People will like you because good moral character never teaches you to hate one another. Good moral character never can make you, a thief or a robber or a hater or a cruel or a, mad, angry person. It will make you a nice person, a polite person, a humble person. And as human, they like this sort of thing. So at the end, what I want to say, yes, there are in different ways, there are differences. I found differences, but overall, I must say my experience in Western country is is Alhamdulillah, very good. I would not say that there are not challenges. You can probably say, Brother Farid, how you are so positive when your community had lost 51 shuhada, you know. But again, I would say that it is also positive because through someone's mistake, my wife has become a shuhada. My 50 other brothers and sisters, they became a shuhada. It is the highest achievement. You can and I can spend everything in this earth to buy 1 inch in paradise, but we cannot. So, one person, had made wrong thing, wrong move. And for that, our people have got paradise. I would not take it as a negative thing. I would take it that from it we have a lot to learn, how we should become united, how we should become strong, and how we should be seen as caring and loving people to each and every human being.
Mm.
So this is, we need to learn. But on the other hand, you look at New Zealand, for example, or many other Western countries, you come from a Muslim country, they give you residence, they give you citizen. So you get equal right in law and order. You get all other facilities that other citizens are getting. So in terms of those side, I see lots of potential in the West, and we just need to be doing our good part, and that way the misunderstandings will be removed, and also people will understand us better.
Inshallah, Jazakallah, very good. I just want to add a little bit from a different perspective. I'm Muslim, but I was actually brought up in the West and lived basically in the West most of my life, so I can give from a different perspective from that. Um, so, you talked about in Bangladesh and other Muslim countries where you hear the azan and things like that all the time. Well, over here in the West, though they're not as frequent as much as they used to, many street corners is the churches. And in days gone by, it used to have the bells ringing and things like that, but now they don't. So in the early days, I remember the bells were ringing and used to attend the church like this. But it's though you said that in Muslim countries you hear the azan, it's a reminder. I know when I spent some time in Turkey, I loved it. You sort of hear the azan, you think, oh, which mosque will I go to? You walk to one place and you're hearing the azan, you think, oh, I'll go to there, or there's so many choices. But here, living in the West, it's actually a bigger struggle, and this is a test for us all. And this is a test, especially for the Muslims coming from another country, where sometimes, it could get like that lady spoke to you when we first came here and asking you a good Muslim or a bad Muslim. So sometimes I hear stories of Muslims coming from their own countries, and they sort of think, well, they might take off the hijab and that when they come here, they might sort of forsake the fasting Ramadan or the praying and things like that. They think, well, when in Rome, as they say, we sort of now here, that was from our past, that was our culture then. But living in the West, there's especially in countries like New Zealand, Australia, there's no problem with you practicing your religion. You want to stay in the mosque all day, you can stay in the mosque all day and pray and things like that. I know when I was traveling through some Muslim countries, I was 5 minutes late for the salat, and they basically, as the people walked out, they locked up the mosque. And I couldn't pray. They said, "Oh, you can pray over here on the grass or something like this." Even one time, I was praying some extra after Fajr time, and they locked me in the mosque.
Mm,
I had to climb out through a window. So, you know, but in Western countries, you have that freedom, and the freedom is, yes, you can practice the Islam. So it is, like I said before, it's a greater challenge, and then it challenges things that make us. We want to be a good Muslim, or we want to be a half so Muslim. It's the challenges, it's the tests, it's holding on tight to the rope of Islam. This sort of things we have to. It doesn't come cheap. For
mm,
me, I chose Islam. It was my choice, and some of the things you have to go through, it wasn't cheap. You sort of you struggle on some things and things like that. So we shouldn't take Islam for granted. Especially those born Muslim, you shouldn't take it for granted. You should really understand what it is that you're following, not just say because my father and my grandfathers and my great grandfathers followed. We should learn about it and then become stronger in it. And then we get more respect from the local people in the country. Generally, there are always some, people who make mistakes or bad people, do some wrong things and things like that, but they're a minority.
mm,
So, we have to then show what Islam is. We show our love for our religion, our prophet, and the other prophets, so that when we're talking to, especially those of others of belief, we talk about our love for their prophets, the prophets they believe in. So then they think, oh, they believe like us, to a certain, so, and the differences are not much. When you get it down to it, the messages come from the same creator. The prophets, most of the prophets are the same. We just have Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as the seal of the last prophets. So we just have to have that understanding. Yes, living in the West has its issues, but some scholars say that if you're migrating to a Western country, it shouldn't be for fame and fortune or better job or things like that. It should be for the purpose of spreading Islam, doing dawah and things like that. So even though you might have got a good job to come here, then you should have the mindset of doing work to try and show others what Islam is. It doesn't mean you have to get up on a soapbox in the middle of the park and preach and things like that, because that's not for everyone.
mm,
So it could be just a matter of being nice, kind, being a seen as a Muslim. Not
Yes.
something that people said, "Oh, what's your name?" "Oh, Mo." "Oh, that's an interesting name." And, so you change the name from Muhammad to Mo, or Bill instead of Bilal. So we should have pride in our names. And that, like for me, I especially have Muhammad Thompson. So it
Yes.
opens up a question straight away. Or how does that work out? So it's sort of like we talk about breaking the ice. That sort of like
Mm.
breaks the ice straight away. So it's just thinking, oh, you can see in their mind as soon as you tell them the name, oh, they start asking questions, where you're from, this and that. And it sort of can go on for a little bit before I sort of tell them, yes, I become Muslim. So these are the sort of things we have to do. We can't just sort of sit back and think, oh, look, we're just here to make money, here to have success. Yeah, back in the home country was so hard. You know, we just want to here to have a better life. Yes, alhamdulillah, have a better life, but remember where you've come from. Remember where we're going to go as well. So if you're just
Exactly.
here for the good life, when it comes to Judgment Day, well, Allah will turn around and say, well, you came for the good life on this dunya. You've had that already, mate. Tough luck. But if you've got, you can have both. You can be sort of planning the next life, but enjoying this life, because Allah gives, a certain amount. So if He's given you wealth and good things in this life, but if you're using that for help you get to the next life and have the better life in the next life, then that's you're even a better winner, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. So, Brother Farid, I've been rambling on too much now.
No, no, very nice.
So, next question. What sort of extra duties Muslims should take for living in non-Muslim society? Maybe I mentioned a little bit, but you can probably mention a bit more
Yes,
on that,
yes, I
inshallah.
can I can add more.
Inshallah.
Yes, yes, when there are opportunities, also challenges, and when there are challenges, there are opportunities. So definitely, living in non-Muslim countries is comparatively harder and more challenging, and that's why to live in non-Muslim society and to live with strong faith and proper practice, we have to take some extra responsibilities. So, for example, we should be fearless. If we fear about how people are criticizing us, people are going to laugh at us, they will mock at us, things like this will be done. We should be brave. So, this is one. Second one is be confident. Be proud, not arrogant, but in a humble way. Be proud about your Muslim identity. Because Muslim is not a crime. Muslim is not a criminal. Muslim is an honorary title given by Allah Almighty for obeying Him. It is a good thing. Because if we obey Allah, if we obey Allah's Messenger, we can be good citizens. We can be peaceful people. We can be good parents, and it will be good for any society, east or west or anywhere. So, we should be confident about our own identity and we should not give up. So, we should, carry on with our identity, and then, that will help us to be accommodated with our own identity. The third thing is in a non Muslim country, our extra responsibility is we have to learn Islam. In Muslim society, you can take to some extent, people can take something easy because friends are talking about Islam, teachers are talking about Islam, families are talking about Islam, and you can learn. But coming here or coming to any Western society where majority people are non-Muslim, it limits your learning facilities about your deen. And if you do not learn your deen, that you cannot be a confident Muslim. If you do not teach your children about deen, that why they should believe, What will happen if they believe? What will happen if they do not believe? Those sort of things. Every day, teach them every day, talk to them every day, discuss with them every day in dinner table, after Maghrib Salah, things like this. Give them the knowledge. I have been teaching in New Zealand to the Muslim kids for last 21 years, and some of the parents, they misunderstand about deen. They think that if they teach their children how to recite Quran and how to memorize few chapters without understanding, they think that their children will be confident Muslim. Very, very, very wrong, because they only understand the recitation. They do not know, about their deen. So when they face their friends, their classmates, you know, and they face any questions, they are not confident to answer them. So, automatically every day they see other things and they may become influenced by them. That is why, to make yourself or your children confident Muslim, knowledge is number one. So, this is extra, challenge we have to take. We have to make sure that any way possible, we need to gain knowledge and pass the knowledge to our children. Then when it comes to the children or adult, another thing we can do is, we should be leaders. We should be leaders. Leaders doesn't mean that political leader or holding the position of mayor. I don't mean that. Leaders mean in Quran as-sabiqun. As-sabiqun, as-sabiqun. Allah said in chapter 56. The leader mean the someone who always is forerunner in good actions. In good actions, if someone is always ahead, that kind of leader I mean. So if we start with our children, that at school, guide your children to be the best in something, best in speech, best in writing, best in sports, best in some particular subjects, best in leadership, things like this. Always target to make someone best, because that way they earn respect. They will not be bullied if they are on top on something. Other will learn to respect them because of their quality, and that will give them confidence, and that will give them, a proper identity, that being a Muslim, they are still respected. I remember, my daughter, when she was in preschool, from preschool we started giving her scarf. So there were, few issues, but she carried on. Primary school, few issues, carried on, but the moment she became, good at few things, then the school picked her up, and then she was on the, top list, leadership list, and automatically the whole chemistry changed. Before, some student used to bully her, then instead of bullying, they started respecting her. That's what we need to do. Show your quality, do your best, and then the last one is, I would say, that always, remember our role models. For example, in non-Muslim society, Muhammad, peace be upon him, he lived about 53 years. And because of his best character, that society used to respect him, used to admire him, and used to call him Al Amin, the most trustworthy one. We can do the same if we live in the non-Muslim society. Remember about Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. He was brought uh, from Canaan to Egypt. He was sold as not as an immigrant but as a slave. But how resilient he was! How resilient he was. Wherever he went, he was in his best moral character, and as a result, he won the heart of, you know uh, non-Muslims in Egypt, and they pushed him to take responsibility to be their leaders. So these
Mm.
are great examples, we have, and if we take those some extra responsibilities to become, practicing, confident, knowledgeable, with leadership positive qualities, then in the West or anywhere we can do good, and for our good things, they will accept us not as a person but as a Muslim as well. And this that sort of things we need to do.
Jazakallah, Brother Farid. Looks like our time is up again. Time has just flown by. Alhamdulillah, thank you everyone for watching, and we appreciate you visiting and seeing our program. Please, if you like the program, pass it on to your friends, share it with your friends. Let them know, because a lot of people who are living in the West or know people living in the West may be helpful to them. But also, wherever we're living, we still need to not take our deen for granted, our religion for granted. We need to actually work on it, and because they say use it or lose it. So saying in the West. So we just need to learn more about it, understand it more, appreciate it more, pray more, and ask Allah for guidance more, and be grateful for what we have, because there's many non-Muslims who don't have this beautiful deen. And like for me, I pray every salat, and even between salat, thanking Allah for guiding me to be a Muslim, because it's the difference between night and day, between life and death. It's just so much, and I appreciate it so much, and alhamdulillah, and appreciate everyone coming again. And Brother Farid, if you'd like to make any last comments before we close off, inshallah, I'll leave it to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
No, I would just wish everyone's best. Yeah,
Inshallah.
assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you again sometime soon, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Inshallah.